Hey, 420 MSP back with Dan Foote from my former hometown of Anchorage, Alaska. It's winter. Any way you slice it, it's winter time up there. So, and I've heard there's been a couple of cold mornings. A couple of friends have made mention of that.
We have had we've been down to the zeros a couple times. Actually, I had to plug in my car. If you don't know
Yeah.
what that means that you want to preheat your engine a little with an electric heat plug,
Yep.
so that you're not trying to start up sludge.
Yep.
So,
Exactly. Well, Dan,
and go ahead.
recently, Marijuana Business Daily, a publisher that I have a lot of respect for. They do really good work. They recently had the most current data available on Anchorage, Alaska sales and highlighting a positive growth. It's on the screen, the basic charts. So let's talk about that. First of all, they for a relatively small town, these are impressive numbers. And so you have the latest data reporting 9 million in sales, coming off of a peak in June, July. Maybe the summer fishing season had people more active. I do not know. Let's start with that. You told me that you cannot attribute that necessarily to tourism because with the pandemic, tourism was a no-no.
Tourism was a big downturn this year, and it's also one of the larger drivers in the state. But this is really refreshing data to see, and looking at this, and in my mind and my experience, I'll just put it right out there like that. I love seeing that the tax revenue for the cannabis sales has exceeded the liquor sales. That's just an amazing figure, which is great for the state. Great for the state.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just great for, I mean, quite frankly, I need good news, right? I'm like anybody and have my business emotions. And so I need good news. And not only is the tax revenue good news for Anchorage, Alaska, but also if you look closely, that year over year growth, right? Look at the chart for 19, the chart for 18. You have year over year growth. Dan, I think we're on to something. This is going to be big.
Well, hey, Harry, I said that we were on to something when all of this started way back in what, 18, 17, when they actually started turning up sales. You know, it's the one of the smarter moves of politicians was to get off of the fear mongering held over cannabis or marijuana or anything like that has been, held sway, really, in my opinion, by the alcohol industry. I'm happy to see it.
Yeah. Next question. In this article, they talk about the Alaska Marijuana Control Board, the regulators in April allowed drive-through sales and curbside pickup during the pandemic, and that likely helped sales. That sounds reasonable to me. Do you have any client? You have a couple dispensaries. Any of your clients doing drive-through sales or curbside pickup?
They might be doing some curbside, but I've not seen it. And I'm not, our business model is generally remote anyway, so we're not on site every day or even close to. But I haven't seen anything or heard anything about doing curbside pickup and I know none of them have drive-through. I don't know of any shops in town that there might be one that I can think of that might have drive-through. But that's kind of a stretch there too, to make those kinds of changes in such short order. And the control board, bless their hearts, some of the laws are kind of challenging anyway. Anything that you do in some cases has to be approved. Like if you want to rearrange your retail space, you need approval. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother visit with you, and I'm going to make a note of that. We're going to talk about about some of that. Hey, I'm going to end on this. So in late 2020, the lame duck Congress passed the MORE Act, which was going to decriminalize cannabis. And this was over in the House. And Don Young from Alaska, who I have not always seen eye to eye. He was actually he was actually the congressman when I lived in Alaska. I'm going to leave it at that. That's not the point.
For
But he
life.
voted, yeah, but he voted for the act. Any thoughts on that? I mean, I'm impressed, to be honest.
Well, I've known for quite a while that Don Young was pretty pro marijuana legalization. You know, it's been going back a few years, and like you, I don't see very eye to eye with him. I'd like to see him just make a graceful exit and retire. But you know, he's Alaska's representative for life because he has literally been there that long.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
he
but
has,
this is
and
good. This is good for us, for the marijuana industry. And you know, a shout out to Don Young. Thank you.
well, and that's big of you. You know, I run my business model. I'm happy to compliment people that I don't always agree with when they do good work and good things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I step up to the table, and Don, this one's for you. Dan, keep it safe. We'll talk to you next month. Thank you, sir.
I look forward to it, Harry. You take care.